Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music. And today I'm doing another video in my series about great lost rock albums that I still dream of. And as I point out in most of these videos, a lot of times it's not an album that exists that's lost. It's a lost opportunity for a great album. And in this case, it's UFO in 1972 with Larry Wallis. And of course, Larry Wallis was in Shagrat with Steve Took at the same time as he was in UFO. And I didn't find out until about 10 years ago that Larry Wallis had been in UFO. And of course, I was pretty excited. I'm a huge Pink Fairies fan. And of course, Larry Wallis was the guitar player in the final Pink Fairies album, Kings of Oblivion. And so now we have some live material by UFO from 1972 with Larry Wallis. And it really got me thinking about it because, first of all, there's a great video, an actual video of Larry Wallis playing with UFO from French TV. And then there's some live material that's come out with him on it. And UFO's set at that time was a bunch of standard UFO material, some stuff from some of their older albums, and some covers. And so Larry Wallis wasn't really contributing to writing at the time, and I get the impression from the work he'd done previously, for example with Shagrat and UFO, that he wasn't really a writer at that point. In fact, he was very nervous when he joined Pink Fairies that he was going to have to be a writer for the band, and he definitely rose to the occasion. He wrote some great material for Kings of Oblivion. But I think about the style of guitar he had because, of course, Mick Bolton was the guitar player in UFO 1969 to 1971. And I really enjoy his playing, but pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot of distortion, not a whole lot of effects. Pretty straightforward. And he wasn't a super killer lead player overall. And there also wasn't that many overdubs. In fact, the first UFO album in the U.S. on Rare Earth Records, in the U.K. I think it was on Decca, and pretty primitive, definitely pretty primitive. And so by 1971, Mick Bolton had left, and they actually worked with Bernie Marsden. There's a bootleg out now with UFO playing with Bernie Marsden, and then there's a later UFO bootleg that has the guitarist Paul Chapman. So they definitely went through a lot of guitar players, and UFO kind of stumbled across Michael Schenker, and Michael Schenker was very young and had been playing in the band Lucifer's Friend and his brother in Scorpions, and so UFO saw him and thought he was perfect, and they asked him to join. So of course he joined in 1973, and I think about the Larry Wallis version of the band because, first of all, his guitar playing is so much different than the other guitar players that had been in UFO, and he definitely liked distortion, and he liked wah-wah, and of course, by the time he got into Pink Fairies a year after that, he had no problems with doing overdubs and having a huge guitar sound. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me dream about a studio album because, of course, UFO didn't have any records out in 1972. Larry Wallis was with the band for about 9 months before he joined the Pink Fairies, so there's plenty of time and a whole year without a UFO album, and it's too bad they didn't squeeze one out because it doesn't seem like there was a lot of writing skills in the band at that point, and everything UFO was playing those first couple of years was covers and a few originals, and of course they made up for it by on the second UFO album, UFO Flying. There's one long track that's just a lot of guitar extrapolations, and so I still dream about the idea that Larry Wallis would have recorded a studio album with UFO in 1972. I would imagine would have had a lot of overdubs, his more garagey style, using distortion and wah-wah, and the ability to do a lot of space effects. Would have made a pretty killer UFO album. And listening to him play with the band on this video, and also the live tracks that have been released kind of confirm that he just had a different flavor that would have really been interesting in UFO at the time. And perhaps since he rose to the occasion to write such great songs for the Pink Fairies just a year later, he probably would have rose to the occasion and written some great original material for UFO. So not a great lost live album, but a great lost opportunity. It's really too bad they didn't manage to record an album in 1972 with Larry Wallis in the studio, and I still dream about it. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.